Evening, Lisa. It's on you. I can see you. No, I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so we're good. Hey, everybody. I am at the spa. I am at the spa. This is Daddy's Girls, season two, episode number 3, where we are asking the question, who are you? We have the amazing host, Jacqueline Thorne, Lady J Thorne at gmail.com. She is Lady J Thorne across all social media platforms. And we have Ada Sanchez. Woo, 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 woo. I am Ada Sanchez Ada.
Info at.
I am Ada Sanchez. See, when I don't have my props and things, but some of the things I remember off the top of my head. So we are super excited. We want to give you all some time to come in and join us live like you normally do. Last week I was on my iPod. Today I'm sitting in the spa. I am in the wonderful Baltimore area with Jacqueline. Yay! It was so good to see you. So good to see you and give you a hug. And Ada is in New York,
Yes.
who she just shared with us that New York just went to high alert. So, for those of you who aren't aware, there is a war happening right now in Israel and all that's going on there. So, we definitely pray for them and pray for their safety and all that, because war is never good, period. Point blank, and the period is never good. But we want to dive into today's episode because we had such a great conversation before we turned on the live about redefining and allowing ourselves to become, right. And becoming, we know that former First Lady, or as some of us call her, our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, wrote the book Becoming. And last week's episode, we talked about, or the week before last, we talked about asking the question is who others say that we are, right? But then asking the question, who are we? And properly taking care of ourselves, right? Being honest with ourselves. And we ended the conversation talking about um, Kurt Franklin
Yes.
and his documentary that's on YouTube. It's only about 35 minutes long, about finding about who his biological, real biological father was, and what he went through with his mom and her denial. Mm. After all these years, um, her denial. So let's unpack.
Yes.
Let's unpack that
Yeah. I
about.
think I think
Mhm.
we need to say that we talked about this, and we can learn from this. We can
Yes.
learn, unfortunately, from the demise of that relationship and identification of who you tell yourself you are, how you show up, and how people receive you. So we want to first say that this is so emotional that it is we had to talk about it, right? And it flows with the theme of self-care, mental health, dealing with reality, and what we brainwash ourselves, how we can brainwash ourselves positively or negatively, and how it impacts not only yourself but other people around you.
Yes. In the brainwashing, my pastor here, Pastor Keith Battle at Zion Church, he's been doing a series on what's on your mind, understanding your thinking and taking that apart. And the fact that he shared a statistic that more than 80% of our thoughts are negative.
Mm,
Negative. And the way that we think about ourselves, if we don't have a counteraction to that negative thought process, how we end up, like you say, manifesting those negative things and creating that picture, that negative picture for ourselves, as opposed to a liberated one, and not lying to ourselves, right? Not saying that this didn't hurt, like you say, Jacqueline, sitting in the pain,
mm-hmm,
not saying that it didn't hurt, doesn't bother us, but as a result of that experience, the turning it, flipping it to green, from red negative to green positive, is, but because of that experience, as a result of that experience, I now have a better relationship with God. As a result of that situation, I now have more patience. Oh my God. The one thing, I mean, I don't pray for patience no more. I'm not patient typically. But when you pray for patience, guess what happens? We get in situations that we have to operate in and manifest patience. Ay, ay,
yeah,
ay. So yes, so the lies, that the untruths, not living in our truth, the untruths that we tell ourselves and convince ourselves of, and not allowing, being able to live our truth of who we are authentically and who God designed us to be and to become. Because Ada, you shared when we were talking about, becoming all that God, you believe God has destined you and designed you to be.
Yes, so I touched on that because a lot of times we think that, we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, right? Every invitation you want to say yes to. Someone calls you, what are you doing, or whatever it is, you always saying yes, yes. And I come to realize as I've matured that every invitation does not require a yes,
Mm,
and that I have to discern what's for me and what's not. At the end of the day, when we pull ourselves here, there, and everywhere, we are no good to ourselves. A lot of times, that's what brings on the stress in our lives. That's what brings on illness. We don't take the time to take care of ourselves. We lack, and I'm guilty, not exercising like we should, not eating like we should at all times, not some of the times, because we're too tired to, plan our meals appropriately. And that is something that I'm guilty of. And I said it has to stop because, you can't be too tired for yourself, but never too tired to, to entertain other things, other people, events, places, or whatever the situation may be. So I'm learning that I have to pick and choose what I know I should be doing and what I should not be, or, not to make anyone feel offended or that I don't want to be bothered, but I have to balance. And as I balance that, I'm also in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing, because that is also the trick of the enemy, how he comes in sometimes. When you focus in and you hone in on something that you want to do, you have a goal, here he comes to try to distract and pull you away. So now you're like, what just happened? Hold on. I was on the right track. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. It looks like I was making headway. And then now I'm two steps back. So we have to remain focused, and we have to know that everything is not for you or for me. We have to discern what it is that we should partake in. Like you can't eat at every table. So, we have to be very mindful of that. Also learning how to self-care. You're at the spa. Isn't that cool? I mean, I was just saying, I wish I was at on someone's massage bed right
Massage
now.
table, yeah.
Yeah, massage table, because I sure could use me a massage. So we have to be more mindful of those things that we need so that we can continue to be strengthened and to be able to carry out those goals and those things that we desire to do, and so that we could also be healthy to be there for others when we need to be there for people. So that's my take on it. And so I'm becoming her, and it's not easy, but you have to shift in order to elevate. You have to take that, that time to shift, even though it may feel a little uncomfortable because you're so used to doing it another way, but it's necessary.
Yeah, that's important and critical, because everything might be good, because you were not talking about doing anything bad, right?
Right.
Everything is good. We want to be involved, we want to support, we want to be there for people, but just because it's a good thing doesn't mean that it's for us to do at that particular time, because when it all is said and done, after we do all of those things, if we're exhausted, if we're spent, if we haven't eaten properly, if we haven't gotten the right amount of rest, if God hasn't extended us the grace
Hmm.
to be able to do all of those things, then we suffer in the end. And then we're no good to ourselves. And ultimately, we're not bringing our best self to the table, even when we show up for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even when we show up for all of that. Because then the things that we're supposed to say yes to, we can't even give everything that we have,
Hmm.
um, bring the best parts of ourselves to the table. So no, I get it. It's hard. It's hard telling people no. It's hard telling ourselves no. It for me anyway. Um, yeah, it's a challenge. It is a challenge for sure. Jacqueline, what you got? What you got? You like, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it.
I feel like I want to represent the spirit of the person or the women, real life, real midlife, real
Yeah,
talk,
yeah.
who is not there yet, right? Who is becoming or working on strengthening, right? And is looking at this live, like, or on the replay, like, how you get there, like, what are the steps, like, if you haven't exercised the muscle, right, then is weak. So I feel like we need to dig a little bit deeper and and give some more examples, like owning your no, right? We just spoke about how saying it's easier to say yes than say no, but you have to own your no also, right? You have to discipline yourself, right? um because you do come first. We talk about the airplane all the time. We fly a whole lot in this group. Put your oxygen mask on first. You can't help anybody else until you help yourself first, right? And I think it's better to disappoint people in love because you're not being nasty about it. But my no is my no. I'm not at the capacity yet. And it takes a while to get to the point where you can say no. Or it takes a while before you get into a regimen where, first I'm just going to walk around the block. I'm going to walk about around the block after dinner every night or in the afternoon or whatever time. Like, it has to start from somewhere. It's going to be painful sometimes because you working new muscles, and like we said last week, you breaking open those muscles, and they're becoming different, and it helps you to become. So, I think that it would be helpful if we gave those examples, like how did you get from here to there. You know what I mean, like the steps that it took, or a tough time in your life. And we talked about and I don't know how we're gonna interject the mirrors, right?
Yeah,
So we all have mirrors, and I spoke last year, I think it was about. No, it's been this year because it seems like we've been doing this longer than a
I
year. But
know. Yes.
earlier
But we're
this
coming
year,
up on a year.
we are
Yeah.
coming up on a year, second
Yes.
season. So thank you,
Yes.
Daddy, because we didn't even see this.
Yeah.
Um, about mirrors, and I talked about how I didn't have a mirror in my bathroom for a while. I was, had some painting done, doing some things to the house, and how I got used to not looking at myself,
Mm.
and how that impacted me, right? Because to get real, you need to look at yourself in the mirror, right? And we talked about the mirror image and the reflection and what that does and how other people receive us. So I think we can learn a lot by being real and looking in the mirror, right? Who are you? Who are you now? And who do you want to become? But who are you now? You need to be able to answer that question. So I think we should share. So I'm gonna go back around. So Lisa, tag, you're
So
it.
yeah, so for me, in all honesty, is when I got sick. Is when I physically got sick and there was dis-ease in my body
Mm,
that manifested for me, not saying this is for anybody else, right? But manifested for me in the form of cancer. And no doctor being able to say and looking at me and saying we don't even know where this comes from. Where so for example, different things stem from different things, right? So like heart disease sometimes can stem from diet, lack of exercise, eating too much unhealthy fats and things like that, right? And some cancers stem from different things. Like, sometimes lung cancer is as a result of somebody that smokes or secondhand smoke. For example, bladder cancer is, which I didn't know until, working with someone that was challenged with bladder cancer. Bladder cancer is smokers or individuals that are exposed to over a prolonged period of time of secondhand smoke. So even the impacts of our actions, how they impact other people, right? So the smoker may not ever get lung cancer, but the person who's around them could end up with bladder cancer because of the secondhand smoke. So for me, what knocked my head up against the wall was being diagnosed with cancer and having to go through that process. And doctors telling me that part of the healing process or the process of fighting back was being around positive people, having a support system in place, how you're thinking, how you're eating, all of those types of things that caused me to make a drastic lifestyle change of how I thought about myself, being able to speak up for myself and advocate for myself. Because the cancer for me, again, and we talking about steps, right? It wasn't even discovered until I continued to fight with my doctors and advocated for myself because I was not feeling well. And to be told, Lisa, you're getting old, haha, basically, and and it's menopause and your body is changing. And I said, okay, understood. I accept the fact that I'm aging because the alternative is I'm dead. Got it. I accept the fact that women go through menopause and our bodies change. Got it. Check. I accept the fact that I haven't been at this space in life before. Check. I am in pain from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I can't keep any food down. When I eat, it's coming out one way or the other. And then to the point that I even stopped eating. And I'm putting on enormous amounts of weight and I'm not eating. So, how am I putting on weight and I'm not eating? I'm in pain. I can't keep any food down. I'm sleeping. When I tell you I was sleeping, I would go to work. I couldn't get home fast enough and I would sleep. I mean, gone. And I'm not lazy. And so for people to say, Lisa, that's you kind of being lazy, you're not doing the stuff you used to do. So to have a conversation with myself and people who are educated and trained physicians telling me all of these different things, and I'm having to advocate for myself and say, but I'm not feeling well. Look at my heart, look at my gut, colonoscopies, MRIs, CT scans, the whole 9 yards, and to finally come down to two areas where they felt like um, cancer would have could have been in my body that they had to investigate. And you get what I'm saying? So it was advocating for me because I wasn't feeling good and I was refused to accept what they were telling me because all I wanted to do, and I don't even want to get emotional, all I wanted to do was feel better. And even and I knew it was a problem when the pills that I was taking for pain stopped working. They worked for a minute, but when they stopped working, and even to step on the ground was painful.
Mhm.
So the becoming and learning to say no is that for that season of time, in order for me to be able to fight back to health and wholeness, it wasn't about anybody else, nobody. It was 100% about me and feeling better and getting better. And so my bumper guard, I look at it like bowling. If anybody has ever bowled, and you go to roll the bowling ball down the lane to knock the pins down, there's something called bumper guards. When kids bowl or beginning bowlers, where they put the bumper guards up so that the ball doesn't go in the gutter and that it will go down and you'll knock something down. My bumper guards for me is when I'm getting tired and exhausted and I'm finding myself in the place where I've given so much that I don't have anything left and there's a possibility that I could be getting sick again. No, baby. Mm-mm. Stop. No, no, Ada. Nope, nope, nope,
Mhm.
nope, nope. and, and shut it down to get back in the place where I'm back in the center and grounded and I can move forward because God knows, as sure as my name is Lisa Denise Lewis, I never, ever want to be in that space again of sickness and pain and discomfort and dis-ease ever again. Um, so that was my process is it more important for people to like you, love you, be in your space, and be sick and dying? Or is it more important to be whole, healthy, and be able to give of your best and live a long life as long as God intends? Because our days are numbered, right? As many days as I'm supposed to be on this earth and be well. And for me, in order to be in that space means that learning to say no, doing things that are in alignment, sometimes doing some hard things, right? And saying no when I'd rather say yes, but it's just not in alignment. So there's some transparency for you.
There were so many nuggets in there. I'm gonna have to catch the replay. I mean, I think when you started off by saying, the negative, right? The negative people or positive, or the only having positivity around you. And that's so important. That's so important to, identify and know. the atmosphere or the energy that's around you, right? The
That's
energy.
it. Because it's like the soil. When you go to pot a plant, you got to make sure that the soil is right for what you're intending to grow. And if the soil is diseased, if the soil is not healthy, it doesn't matter what you plant in there, it's not going to grow. And if it grows, it's going to grow and be defective, you know? Um, and so and who knew? Who knew? I had just had no clue of the importance of your environment when you're trying to heal, to the degree that even now, when you have surgery in the hospital, major surgery, it doesn't even matter. Now they want to get you out of the hospital as quickly as possible to get you home around your own things, around loving people and people to care for you, because they have learned, science has proven that the longer you stay in the hospital, the longer it takes for you to recover and heal. Because the hospital is for sick people. They want to get you out of the place of sickness and disease and get you in the place of healing and wholeness. Okay, we're going to cut you up. We're going to do all of this. But as soon as we can get you home, we want to release you to go home.
Mm.
Come on.
Come on now. All right, Ada.
Ada knows. Yeah, Ada knows they want to
Mm-hmm.
get you out of the hospital as
Mm-hmm.
quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's so true. Well, environment key. That's the reason why I had to obey God's voice when he was prompting me to retire before I expired,
Right.
Right?
because it was not a healthy environment. And to go to work every day and not be happy and be around toxic people,
Yep.
literally every single day, all day. I mean, I would keep the ear sets in my ear all day, trying to block it out, listening to my gospel, listening to a message, doing whatever I needed to do to overcome all of that stuff that was in the atmosphere. And like I said, I did make that transition while I was home recovering from surgery. So, when you go through enough in life and you come to a point where you say, enough is enough, I'm not doing this no more. Because you cannot expect to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, right? They say that's insanity. Well, ain't nothing insane about me. So I knew I knew that I needed to be obedient and not question, well, how am I going to do this? Just go. And I thank God obedient, because I'm telling you, obedience is truly better than sacrifice, because we don't know what's down the road. But one thing for sure that we know is that God is a provider.
Yes.
He is a healer, he's a provider, and he will take care of us. There's no need to work, 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 toil while you're working because of money. Money is great because it answers a lot of things. But at the end of the day, when you're working and you're sick, or you don't feel good, or you don't even, your whole spirit just feels grieved every day to try to make the money. So what do you choose? I choose life. I want to live because money can be gotten, we can make money, right? But your life, your health, and your well-being, it's not to be sacrificed. And I mean, I'm even saying in relationships that are unhealthy, relationships, whatever it is that's unhealthy, that's toxic, that takes away your peace. If there's no peace, that's a sign right there.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if it's always chaos, arguing, and not being able to see eye to eye, hmm, how long we gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not gonna do this. You know, when I tell people, when they say, "Well, how old are you?" and I give them my girl, what? No, you gotta be kidding me. Well, yeah, that's because you have to choose what is good for you and get rid of the stuff that's not, right? Because it will show on you, right? Your whole countenance changes. You start looking 10, 15 years older than you are because of the environment and the things that we accept from others, right? So I decided that, you know what? I don't care who it is. I don't. I really don't. It could be my grandchildren, my son, it could be my mom, my brother, whomever. I I always tell everybody, listen, you know I'm here for you, but I got to take care of me. Cuz at the end of the day, if I don't take care of me, then what? I'm hoping somebody will take care of me if, if I need someone to, but you know, everybody's so busy these days.
Right.
Everybody's so busy that you will hear an excuse. Oh, well, I can't go over there today. I can't do this. I can, so I really am a firm believer of, making the right decisions for yourself, for myself, and doing what I can do to eliminate certain things because I can't control nobody else. I could
Right.
only
Right.
control me and what I accept, my actions and what I do. So I focus on what it is that I need to do. I'm looking at Dr. Lisa, the belief system boss. That's
Hey.
it. And my beliefs. And so activating those beliefs and those promises and taking those promises and running with it and just living by faith.
Yeah.
Because if we continue to live, without faith and we living by sight, it messes us up all the time, so a lot of times we trying to figure out how is this going to work out, how is this going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but guess what? If you have enough faith to believe that it'll happen, it will happen.
And
I
I think,
remember.
and I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I
Go
was going
ahead.
to say, I remember my mom being in the hospital when they was giving her up to die. And I said, no, she shall live and not die to declare the works of the
Yes.
Lord. And it was by faith. And just putting a headset on her while she was laying in that coma with nothing but the word and anointing her feet and her head. And after 3 days, her rising from the coma, I said,
Look at
look
that.
at, look at
Look
God.
at
Okay. And so this is what I'm saying. You just have to believe it. Do not accept the negative reports. And okay, it might be a negative report, but guess what? You don't have to sign for the package. You confess over that report. By Jesus' stripes, I'm healed. Whatever it is you have to do. And, just believe by faith, like Dr. Lisa did.
that.
She
Mm-hmm.
believed, and look, she's here talking with us about,
Yes.
she gave us our testimony, she gave her testimony, and that is what life is. It will bring you some things that that you don't expect, but you can overcome if you don't give up and keep the faith, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it sounds like, what it smells like, whatever. You just continue to have faith to believe that you are going to overcome whatever the situation is. Because God is faithful, He's no respecter of persons. So if He did it for Lisa, He did it for Jacqueline, He did it for me, He will do it for you.
What were you gonna say, Lisa?
And, and and when you talk about the money piece, all money is not good money.
Ex-
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
We know we need to make a living. That's understood, right? We like to live. I like to live indoors. I like running water. All those kind of things. I do, right? I'm not no camping outside kind of
And
person. Not my thing. And it is
Right.
for some people, not my thing. But all money is not good money.
mm-mm,
And when we chase a dollar is not our friend, right? Now, if the goal is really, let me provide for my family and provide for my basic needs and that sort of thing, and be able to save, squirrel away a little something for retirement and all that,
mm-mm,
that's understood.
mm-hmm,
But the love of money is the root of all evil, because sometimes when you love something, you do anything for it, anything for it. So that's a little tidbit. So for somebody who's listening who may be thinking, okay, yeah, I'm getting this money, I'm making this paper, and all of that. All money is not good money. And some things you need to leave on the table because they're going to cost more. It's going to cost more than what you think, what ultimately you're going to get from it. That's one thing. The other thing is healing shows up in all kinds of ways. Whether or not we get healed on what I could call this side of glory or on the other side of glory. Because one thing is for certain, we were not created to stay on this earth forever. We all are going to check out of here one day. However, we transition from this life into glory. Um, and just because the healing doesn't manifest on this side doesn't mean that God is still not involved, that God is not there. Because I've lost some loved ones to illness. That do I wish they were still here? Absolutely. But that just wasn't part of the plan, right? Um, so again, if you're listening to this and you're sitting by the bedside of a loved one who is transitioning from this life to the next, the blessing is that you're able to be with them as they journey to meet, to their eternal home. And you're able to have that experience with them as opposed to hearing about it, right? You're able to speak into their ear, because this is what I do, right? You're able to whisper into their ear and see the countenance on their face change when they get into the presence of God and they realize they're about to leave, and to see the peace on their face, to know that this was what it's all about, because this is not our eternal home. Not it. We're having fun while we're here, but this is temporary. Um, which is why it is important for us to know who we are, take a look in the mirror, look at all of our intricacies, ask the Lord, who am I becoming? Who do I need to become in this stage of the journey? Because we're real women, real midlife, real talk. Who do I need to become in this stage of the journey for what's next? For us, be it relationships, be it career, retirement. Because guess what? Retirement is a career. Because you retire, Ada, and you're not sitting at home twiddling your thumbs at all. There's no grass growing underneath your feet. You are on the go. You know what I'm saying? That is responsibility and a job. So what are we becoming? Who are you now?
Mm.
Who are you becoming? Who do you envision? Not your girlfriend, your sister, your mama, your best cousin, your BFF, none of that. Who are you? When you driving in your car, when you taking off the makeup, when you peeling off the lashes, when the
Oh no. Come on now. All right, we having a little glitch. Um, well, you might as well just come on out here and finish your thought because you were on a roll. Um, until we get this straight, there's a couple of things that I saw or that I heard, and it all is with the P's. I heard positivity. I heard prayer. I heard peace. I heard pressure.
Yes.
And I've heard push because the pressure is pray until something happens.
Yes.
So I'm hearing peace. So please finish your thought.
But who are you after all that stuff is gone? Who are you? Because in your spirit, the Lord is speaking something in your spirit, in your heart, in your soul as to who you are. And that's who we need you to become. That's who there's somebody that you're going to meet along the path. They're waiting for you to become because they need what you have. This is the stuff that we wish we had somebody telling us that we didn't know. So we sharing it with you. Because who I'm becoming at this stage of the journey, oh my God, today. I'm just saying, it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good. Absolutely.
Mm. Any final thoughts? Because I'm about to pour these.
Oh, yes.
We have one for you too, Ada. Here you are, darling. And this is for you, Ada. Toast.
That's it. What you got?
What you got?
My
Is it
Royal Caribbean cup.
The
See,
travel agent.
this is what I'm saying. This is who you becoming. She drinking out of her travel agent cup. Here we go. This is a toast, and we're toasting you. That's it, Judelle. We are toasting you and who you're becoming.
Yes.
We are toasting you, looking in the mirror, taking it all off, and asking yourself the question, "Who am I?" And we're toasting who you becoming because we are ready for you. The world is ready for you. God is ready for you to show up and show out.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go.
Thank you, God.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for your testimony this evening. I know it's going to be a breakthrough for the becoming,
Yes.
For the health, and for the vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, it's so appreciated. I love you, ladies, so much, and I'm so glad you said yes.
Love you too.
I love you too, True. And the four other people that I see watching right now, and on the replay. There's another sip for you,
yeah.
on the replay.
Oh, I finished mine. I'm sorry, but look, that's how good. Oh my goodness! So we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, next Wednesday. You'll have us next Wednesday.
Yes.
We're going to dedicate it to come on every Wednesday. Whatever you're watching this on YouTube,
Yes.
Facebook. Please share. Please subscribe.
Yes.
Please like. Please comment.
Yes.
We would love your feedback. And the best is yet to come. So, Daddy's girls, I love y'all.
Love you too.
And we love you too. So in your journey, we are praying that God opens up a door.
Yes.
That hopefully this is a message or inspiration for you to get to your next, to who you're becoming. So we don't have the outro tonight, but we have water. So
see y'all next week.